Hey there, freedom fighters. My name is Andrew Warner. I'm the founder of Mixergy, where I interview the world's best entrepreneurs for an audience of the world's best entrepreneurs. My goal here is to help you see how they built their businesses so that you get not just inspiration, but get some ideas that you can use to build your own company. And obviously it's been working because many of the people who I interview these days are people who learned and listened to these interviews as they were building their companies. And now they're here to share what's worked for them. All right. So today's guest hit on an interesting issue that you probably have felt, but most of us don't know what to do about. Stress. Her name is Jane Smorodnikova. She is the founder of Weltery. Weltery is an app that lets you measure your stress levels and be more aware of what's going on in your body so you can understand what your body is ready for each day and feel better. I had no idea how well this app was doing, so my team looked it up. They told me about it. It was impressive. I said, let's get her on here. And we worked hard to get her on, and here she is to talk about how she built up this business, how she got users, how she's getting them to pay so much. Frankly, I thought the App Store was all about $199 products. She's selling her software for a lot more than that. And it's on a subscription basis, right, Jane?
Yes.
Yep. So,
hi, Andrew.
Hey, and I saw the reviews. People love it. So it's not just that you're getting people to subscribe. They're actually really engaged and happy with it. I should say this interview is sponsored by two companies you guys have heard me talk about a lot. The first will host your website. It hosts my website. It's called HostGator. And the second will help you hire your next great developer. Jane says she's got some friends who work in their developer network. It's called TopTal, but I'll tell you more about both those later. Jane, good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Jane, I got to be honest with you. I've been feeling enormous amounts of stress lately, doing way too much, unable to organize and delegate the way that I'm used to. And so I got your app. And it's really cool how what I could do is I could put my finger right on the camera, the light from the flash goes off, and you measure my heart rate, right?
It's not exactly a heart rate. It's heart rate variability. So it's milliseconds between each of your heartbeats. So it's
right.
Like 100 more numbers than heart rate.
Which is why my Apple Watch that I'm wearing, that you're wearing, will not work because it doesn't take the measurements as fast and the camera can do it that fast.
Yeah. So
okay.
Like Apple iPhone has better camera.
And so here's the thing. I did it the first day and I was like, I was stressed, which is why I was excited about it. I put my finger on it and then it said, you're moving too much. Chill out, dude. I couldn't sit still for it. And I said, I should have put on a podcast before, but it's too late because now I'm a little bit into this. And you don't do it over 5 seconds. It's like a minute or so, right? I couldn't sit still for the minute. It kept saying, all right, we're going to restart it. Sit down, dude. And so I finally got through it. And then the next day, because you need at least a week's worth of data, the next day when the alert went off and said, okay, it's time for you to do your heart rate variability, I said, I can't sit still right now. I'm going to do it later. And I never got to it. Is this a common issue?
Yes, there is an issue about that. And the only thing that will change it is like when Apple and Samsung and Xiaomi guys who are developing wearables will get better signal, so you will not have to do anything about this. But for some people, as long as you can find 1 minute in your morning, and usually it's people meditating and thinking about their day, if you have this 1 minute, you will know what your body is ready for today and can make your day more successful.
The thing is, it's not even get to know what my body's ready for today. I have to go through this for a week and then I get the upside, right?
No, it's not like that. It's like before 1 week, we have about 80% accuracy, but after 1 week, you will have 100%. So, you will get information. It may be not so accurate, but in general, it will be right.
Okay. And like I said, I'm unusual in that I can't sit still. There are a lot of people who use your app and are sitting still and are happy. The ratings are very strong. How many customers do you have? People who are actually paying on a monthly or annual basis for the software? Can you hear me okay?
Right now, it's more than 3,000 users.
More than 3,000?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I heard that the number was 300,000. So it's 300, wait.
We have 300,000 users, not customers. So it's different. We have a free app. So there are a lot of people are using free app.
Okay. And then what's the paid version cost?
And paid version is about $9 per month. It's subscription. We have like lifetime value about $100, and so people are paying for it for a long time. And the main feature there is that you can add all your other data from your fitness trackers, from your computer activity, health, etc., even weather, and make sense from it because you have your own KPI like stress and energy. So we can understand like does running makes your stress go down? Does your meditation actually help you to be more productive, and like correlate all this data?
Because you'll see from Strava or Runkeeper that I ran yesterday, and when I run, my stress goes down, and you'll know also how soon after I run my stress goes down. And the same with meditation apps, you feed that data from everything.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a lot of integrations.
And okay, and then overall, what's the revenue then? I was doing back of the envelope math, and I saw at like $9 a month, you're at 1.4 million, but a lot of people opt for the annual price, right?
Yeah. So right now, it's about $300,000 run rate and growing about 36% per month. So we're going to like become $1 million revenue in a 6 month or something like this.
Okay. Wow. All right. So
we just launched 6 months ago, so I think it's okay.
Yeah. And how much money did you raise?
1.7 million.
Wow. And before this, you had another company that you started, right? What was that business?
So actually, before Welltory, I had a company builder. So it was like small company called Coffee Lab that helped several startups a year to launch. And we help guys to find developers, to fundraise, to make idea done right. And like several companies we help, like Lead Cooker or Mailburn or YaContent are doing well right now. And we also launched Founder Institute chapter in St. Petersburg, Russia. So I just worked a lot with startup founders. And
your experience as an entrepreneur started, was it with Lifehacker? Lifehack?
No. It was like about more than 10 years ago. It was payments like cashing machine for city bills. It still works in Siberia.
Wait, payment machines for
and
what?
People are still using it to pay their bills. Yeah.
It was machines that they would use to go pay their bills?
Yeah.
Okay.
Using cash.
Oh, wow. All right. So they go up to their machine and they pay their electric bill, that kind of thing. And it's still being used in Siberia.
All the bills. Yeah, like all the bills, including internet, mobile, electricity, like everything.
Wow. I had no idea that you were doing that. What's the name of that company? I've got your whole list of companies here and I still didn't realize.
It was the first one.
Okay.
It's called Kvartablat.
Okay. All right. And so you built that up and at some point you left and then you had other experience. I see you also founded Gernard Perch Sophisticated Technologies. Like, so you have a bunch of experience doing that. And that's why you got into Founder Institute and you helped them by launching the St. Petersburg chapter. In all that time, up until 2014, when you started Founder Institute in St. Petersburg, what are some of the lessons that you brought to Founder Institute that you then brought to Founder Lab, where you were helping entrepreneurs get going? What are some of the things that you learned? And I could see that the connection's a little bit slow.
Actually, what I have learned is that founder is the most important. Do you hear me?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag, but we're okay.
I think it will improve right now. So I think that the founder and what is going on and the head of the founder and how the founder feels and what he thinks actually is the most important thing in launching startup. And that's for me, it was like, really strange that people who are talking about launching business, about new companies, are always talking about like rational things, about market is ready, it's the right time, it's the right idea, the right business model, the right revenue. And nobody's, is talking about the dark part, about what is going on in the head of entrepreneur. And it's, that's what I think is like the most important part here. That's what I try to talk with founders. I saw how their startup failed because they just burn out, because they lose their focus and don't understand what's going on and make wrong decisions and all this stuff.
Do you have an example of that?
Was like, yeah.
Do you have an example of a founder who should have, if her head or his head was on right, they would be killing it, but because they weren't, because they were burning out or overstressed or anxious or worried or fearful or whatever, they lost their business. You don't have to give me their name, but I'd love to hear their story. Tell me.
So actually, it's a lot of stories about that. So what is good? Like, one of our companies called Mailburn, and I can tell it like Daniel because Daniel posted it. So it's a public information. And the thing is that he launched his company. It was like turning Gmail into WhatsApp. So he got email protocol and turned it into a chat experience. And it was working great, but they have a lot of problems with email protocols because email is like horrible in the downside. And he was so focused on these things, they had a lot of trouble, so they lost their strategy. So it's, when you are stressed, you are thinking about only these things that are right in front of you.
Yeah.
About problems that are right in front of you, and you are losing the big picture because like at the same time it's hard to be right in the moment and to see the big picture when you are like so stressed.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt. You're so freaking right. That's exactly what happens to me. I deal with the problems that are most pressing because they're most visible to me, and I don't think longer term, partially because I can't think beyond these issues. Not just that these issues need my attention, but that I'm unable to think beyond where I am right now. Okay, so you started to see that, and as a result of him sorry to interrupt, but I got to just jump in here. I want to make sure that I understand it. You're saying as a result of him saying all these email protocols are such a pain to work with, and to turn long email into short chat is so tough, that he wasn't thinking of what the long-term vision of this company was and how do we get that. And maybe the long-term vision is dump out of email altogether and just create a new way of communicating like a Slack. Or maybe it's something completely different. And if he was thinking clearly, that's what he would have done. Is that right?
Yeah, because if he would be thinking clearly, he would create it Front, because Mailburn was born like about a year ago before Front, and Front is like the new email turned like Slack style, and it's super successful company. Guys are doing great products, so there was a way to do it right, but he was like too stressed to think about this. That's happened with the entrepreneurs all the time, because when you are doing startup, you make strategic decisions every day. And if you are stressed, you cannot think about this, right?
You know what? If you just end the interview right here, I feel like I got a lot out of this. You're exactly identifying what's going on in my head, which is why I can't sit still for 5 seconds, actually a minute, while an app checks my heart rate. All right, I'm looking at Front. I never heard of Front app, or it doesn't sound familiar. It's frontapp.com. What is it that makes them so special that you guys could have pivoted into this?
They are making email like the next generation, because email is a super old protocol. It's the most popular protocol in the web. So you should understand it's the only default protocol that is supported by both people, apps, and companies. So it's huge, but it's like so old school. It's just text without any buttons. Like it's too old school. It has to be like reimagined. And Front guys are doing it in the way of Slack. And I see it works. They have created like shared inboxes for different topics. So like in Slack channels, and it looks.
I see.
I've seen their pitch deck. They are doing great.
Here's one thing that I see that already stands out that I would like. Assignments. Sometimes I get email. I don't want to do it. What I do is I forward it to someone else, when what I should be doing and what I prefer to do is just assign it to somebody else as a task. And other times someone will just share an email with me and I can't tell, is it a task or is it a FYI I'm handling this type of thing? And then there's also chat sessions, which I could have with other people on my team, and got it. And I could bring in Twitter and SMS in there. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like different use cases in email, and they need special interfaces.
Okay. So what I understand from your conversation with our producers, you saw this. People were burning out. Good entrepreneurs who had all the skills to succeed were still failing because of what was going on in their head. No one was handling it right. And frankly, there are a lot of charlatans who I think try to handle it right. They're the people who tell you that they know what to do, but they don't. And you said, I think science needs to be brought in. And the first step towards science is always an Excel spreadsheet. And so you got an Excel spreadsheet and you did what with it?
So I just got a lot of books about physiology and cardiology and analyzing heartbeats, like just public formulas that are available in science papers, and created the same things that people are doing with a huge medical machines in Excel. And then on Python, just a small prototype. So I spent about a weekend to build the app, like the small prototype, to calculate these numbers about stress, energy, parasympathetic system, activity, and all this stuff with like from scratch. And then
but Jane,
we
was
went
it going to?
Yeah.
This is where I shouldn't have interrupted, but since I did, I'll continue. Was this going to ask people to manually enter their data, like their heart rates and so on, or were you at that point pulling it in? I just thought that they can do like get their heart rate from any heart rate monitor, like Polar, Strap, or something like this, and then they can put these numbers from Polar to our prototype and get the results. Got it. Okay, so they put it in there, and you were starting to say, what happens with all this data? What did you make happen with the Excel spreadsheet?
I have compared it with medical graded apps and gadgets. That's why we needed it.
But wait, so just having all the data in a spreadsheet doesn't do anything. Was the spreadsheet starting to calculate, run a calculation that would tell you how you're feeling, or what?
Yeah, so this spreadsheet did all calculations that usually you can get in the hospital from medical graded devices who are getting your heart rate.
But then what happens once I get that? When it was an Excel spreadsheet?
For user, it's nothing. It was for us that we actually can, because, doctors and guys who was working on like medical graded ECG devices told us they have spent about 5 years like creating these calculations and all this stuff. And we just were thinking, is it possible to calculate all these numbers we need, or we need to hire some professor and all this stuff? So it was like it was a check, like MVP for us to prove that we actually can just get books and sign papers and create the same algorithms that people have right now. And then we have started to improve it.
Because I see. So your prototype wasn't, can we change people's lives with this data? You said, look, there is accurate data that's improving people's lives. Doctors are proving it on a regular basis. They have this equipment. Our question isn't, does that work? It works. We see it in the medical community all the time. Our big question is, can we get that kind of data without medical grade equipment, with the equipment that people have already with them, like heart rate monitors? And once you were able to say, yes, we could do it, you said, then the next step is, what do doctors do with this? What's the ideal thing to do with this data? Let's guide our users through that. And that's when you took on the app. Am I right?
Yes, that's how we understood that we can do it with a smartphone without any gadgets. We spend a lot of time like making a great signal from it and calculating it. And the last part, the most important part, that was that why you need a doctor. Because you see all these strange numbers like SDNN, RMSSD, and all this stuff from heart rate variability. You cannot understand what is going on there. And you need a doctor or physiologist. If you're an athlete, you have your own trainer who can interpret these numbers. And the real job was to learn to train our algorithms to interpret this data for a user without physiologist. It was a hard part. We spent a lot of time on it. We had to collect it like 2 billion of data points to use technology to replace the physiologist.
Okay, let me talk about my sponsor, and then we're going to continue with what the first version of the app looked like. But first, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read an email that I got from somebody who does not like my sponsor. Here's the headline. It's from Hari Iyer, and the reason I'm bringing up his name is because I want to thank him. I want anyone who's unhappy with any one of my sponsors to tell me. I need to know that they're good, and I need to know when they're not good. So he goes, why do you use HostGator as a sponsor? And then he continues, he says, Andrew, guys, because he knows that other people read my email, I love all your sponsors except for this one. It's terrible. How do you square the fact that the CEO goes around killing elephants? The CEO doesn't go around killing elephants, the CEO of HostGator. That was reason enough for me to move on. I think he's talking about a different company. And he says, I understand they're paying you money, but ethics, man. See here, I'm not the only one who who thinks that, and then he gives me a link to hostingfacts.com. So I go to hostingfacts.com, and I'll tell you, the person who did the review on hostingfacts.com is Brad Smith. He actually says Brad Smith likes it in this article. You guys can go see this for yourself. But the commenters are not crazy about HostGator. So some people come in with negative, some people come in with positive. So there's a woman, Jennifer Hefner, who comes in, gives it a 50 out of 100. There's another guy, Andrew, gives it 100 out of 100. So it's all over the place. Let me tell you guys something. Jane, I'm going to say this to you. I always keep my guests on here to make sure that I'm held accountable. If I'm just talking into a mic, maybe I'll want to make a lot of money and forget that there's a human being out there listening. But if I see you, I want you to know that I'm a credible person. And so I speak the truth. So here's the thing. Hosting is the most polarizing topic on the planet. For some reason, if someone has a really bad experience with their hosting company, I get it. They hate the hosting company completely. If they have a great experience, they love it and everyone else is wrong. I'm not getting in the middle of this fight. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Every hosting company out there has problems. There isn't a single one. We went with the most expensive for Mixergy, and we had media problems. We stuck with it because we knew the founder for a long time, and then we finally said, let's get out. So I get it. I switched my company, Bot Academy, to HostGator. I bought a middle tier package. It worked great. Then I did this partnership with Copyblogger. That guy, Brian Clark, has insanely active users. It basically brought down my site. I called up HostGator. I said, can we level up? They said, yeah, you can level up. I said, can you give me a great price for getting the best possible service? I said, you know what? If you sign up for 3 years, we'll give you the best possible price. So we signed up for 3 years. I'm happy with it. I'm not going to pretend that there are people out there who are not, I'm not going to pretend that there aren't people out there who are not happy with it. But I got to tell you, I've done interviews here on Mixergy, and so many of my guests, you heard it right out of their mouths. They said they use HostGator for themselves. They use it for their clients. So if you want someone who is not perfect, here it is, hostgator.com/Mixergy. I've had incredibly strong experiences with them. I'm not going to hide the fact that some people don't, but I will tell you, stop obsessing about, is this the perfect, is there that? Just pick one, go with the level of hosting that you need. So if you don't like the cheapest plan, level up and get whatever you need. And then forget about hosting and go think about your business. How do you get more customers? How do you do a better job for your customers? Forget about the details of it. All right. So guys, go to hostgator.com/Mixergy. I absolutely stand behind them. If you saw that at one point I stopped running their ads, it's because I looked at all the feedback and I said, let's check it out. I've never had negative feedbacks about a sponsor before. I checked it out. I liked them. I saw that the results were strong with them, and I acknowledge that some people are not 100% satisfied with them. I'll tell you what though, just like this guy, Brad Smith on hostingfacts.com said, they have incredible money back guarantee, 45-day money back guarantee. So if you're not finding that they're as good as I think they are, and that so many people think they are, ask for your money back and tell me about it. I will not hide it. I'm telling you, they're fan-frickin-tastic. I'm very happy with them. And if you go to the special URL, hostgator.com/Mixergy, they're going to give you up to 62% off. Hostgator.com/Mixergy. All right. Jane, what do you think of that?
I think hosting is crazy. We have 25 servers right now.
Because you're an app and you have all that data?
Yeah, it's because it's a lot of data, and it's always painful stuff.
And I see it even on Hacker News. Somebody will say that they moved to AWS for their data, and then someone else will say, no, AWS is not the right answer. You need to go. We can't allow that to make us spiral out of control. We in tech love tech so much that we focus more on our computers and more on our iPhones and our gadgets and all the love that we have for them. You would never see a carpenter look at his hammer as much as we're looking at the devices that we use and question, is this the best hammer ever? He just freaking hammers the nail into the piece of wood. He thinks more about the outcome. But we get distracted by look at how good this hosting package is and this one is. Go with one that's really good, that's survived, that does a great job, and then move on. Same thing with a phone. I get it. I have the same love for phones, so I'm not putting people down for it. I'm just saying at some point we get too distracted. All right.
Yeah, but it's not so easy because, for example, for us, when we tried AWS, it was $5,000 a day. So it's like,
I don't mean to imply, by the way, that's a lot. I don't mean to imply that you shouldn't care about it. I just mean let's not get spiraled out of control and that becomes the main thing that we're focused on. Yeah. It's easier to focus on that, frankly, than it is to hear a customer say what I said at the beginning of this interview, right? But what do you need to hear? You need to hear what customers are saying. You need to know what they're going through and how to build for them. All right. So what you did was, you said, I'm getting started here with an app. You built a beta version of the app that used an iPhone camera. What were you trying to do with that app and how did that beta version go?
So basically we were not sure about how it should look like. So we just did it and then, connected several data sources like sleep, like activity and computer activity and said to people like, come on, guys, we have a couple of doctors and wellness coaches here and therapists, and your data. So come on, become a part of our beta version and we will talk with you and try to help you. And we did it was manual service. We had real people talking with our users in a chat, with their data. So, people
in the
started
app
to
they were
pay
doing
us,
this? So in the app, you'd have real people talking with users. So what you do is you'd collect data for them and you would talk to them about it. What else would you do with that data?
So basically we saw the data and try to understand what habits are the most important to change. What can this person do to feel better as fast as possible? So there are cool stories about it. We had a guy with panic attacks in the night. So he just wake up in the night with a panic attack and, he was not able to do it with doctors and hospitals and he tried everything. And what we understood looking at his data is that when he has, too many proteins, not enough carbohydrates, he, sleep less. And he was, super sporty guy. He was runner and Ironman and do it everything. And he just ate too much proteins. And when we told him to eat cookie before he's going to sleep, his panic attacks ended.
And you were able to know that it was a cookie because how? How did you know the cookies were doing this? How did you know he even ate it?
We knew that it's just about, that he's on the protein diet because he tracked his food. We just told him you need something, with sugar. Anything. Cookie, not cookie,
I see. Because you connect with, what's the app that I use? I use, MyFitnessPal.
Fat Secret. Yeah, it was a Fat Secret.
Okay. So if I use MyFitnessPal to log all my food, you will even use that plus my measurements to tell me, oh, I see. But so here's the thing though. The other thing that turned me off, I'll be honest with you about the app, was I had to watch these long 24-minute videos. I don't have time for 24-minute videos. Will you tell me this stuff without watching that? I like how you smiled when I said I don't have time for 20-minute videos. I'm doing an hour-long interview. Yeah.
You can, there is no sense, to watch video if you don't need to. So if you don't want to, just don't watch it. There are 3 minutes video, 4 minutes video, 5 minutes video, and text also. So you can just read fast if you not want to understand something. But basically, you don't have to do it. You can just, measure, see your recommendations and try it or not try it. Anyway, you will see the, results of your decisions tomorrow.
Okay. You know what? This is not the type of interview where I'm looking to learn about new software, but I got to try it. I got to do this right now. I got to get back on it. I want to understand what's leading to my stress and what's taking the stress away. All right. I'm going to do this as we talk. Where do I go in the app now to add, since I missed 6 days already? Where is it? You can see I missed 6 days. History.
Yeah. Just go to the measure menu and, press
right
the
here,
orange
the measure
button.
Menu?
I think it's I'm sorry. I don't see.
Oh, you can't see it because it's that. Okay. I'm going to, miss 6 days. I'll find it and I'll do this after. I was going to do it with you. Oh, here we go. The measure.
There is orange button. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Let's see if we can look. All right. So now put my finger on right here. I'm going to try to chill out and just not move. Oh, there we go. And let's go on with the next question. I feel like I need this more than anyone else. I'm not good at sitting still, but I also recognize that there's some things that help my body that are counterintuitive. Like, I used to think the more I slept, the better I was the next day. And then I started wearing the Apple Watch to sleep and I realized No, 8 hours actually doesn't make me feel better. If anything, I feel a little drowsier after 8 hours. 6 hours is fine if I'm in a good mood and not feeling stress. So it's not about the amount of sleep that I get. It's how I feel going to sleep. It's how I feel during the day that determines how I'll do the next day. But you're going to give me more.
Yeah, because so like sleep is the like biggest question. So people don't know how many hours they actually need to sleep, because we are so different. For somebody, it's about 6 hours. For somebody, it's 7 hours. For somebody, it's 9 hours. And, if you get 8, it's not enough. And that's how you actually, can just measure it. And you see, like, if your energy recovered after night, you're okay. And then how you can understand what types of sleep, like, when you should go to sleep, what time is better for you, what makes you to recover fast, so you can research it. With subjective, like, talking about just the mood, it's not enough because we are not connected really with our body. I know a lot of people who told us, like, our app told them that they're super, like, stressed and tired right now, and they said, come on, I'm great. I'm feeling great. I'm able for everything. That's actually stress. That's what stress makes you to feel, that you are like, able for everything because your body is trying to run up from the lion, something like this. And, that's why actually measurements are better because they show how your body feels, not your head feels. And it's very different.
All right. I did it. It took about a minute. That's not too bad. And then right after I did it, it asked me how I was doing today, and then it said, why do you feel that way? And I like how it didn't ask me to type it in. I had a bunch of words that I could click on to tell you why I was feeling like I was feeling. All right. And I hit the words for overworked, and I hit the words for, what else was there? There were a lot. Oh, and then there was another one for a lot. So overworked a lot. All right. So this is the way it works right now. And I'm now on a streak of 1 day doing this, and I need to do it for 7 days in a row. When you did that first version, it did basic stuff, like you said. It could take basic measurements, and then you could talk to people. What did you learn that you needed to put into the app based on this first version and the conversations that you had with people who are using it?
Yeah, so what we have learned, the first thing that people don't care about their health. It was the first huge part. And that's why actually, most of people fail to stick on their fitness and health goals and their like New Year resolutions and all the stuff. They're just too busy. And that's why they don't care about long term. But what we have realized is that people actually do care about their money, work and productivity and success, about things like this. They have a lot of work, and that work is like the most important part of our health, actually, because it's the biggest part of our life. It's the biggest stress there and all this stuff. So what we have learned is that if we motivate people and talking with them about short-term values, about being productive today, it works much better for health than actually health or fitness.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily want to live, well, I do want to live longer, but I don't care about how I'm going to do even a week from now or a year from now. What am I going to do right now? What are you going to get me now that's important, right? I get that. All right. And so because of that, did you learn to add immediate results to people? And did you? Were you able to give them immediate results? Were you able to show them significant work improvement because of this? You did. How? I think I just lost you.
Yeah. So the thing is that we are trying to give you recommendations like for today. It's something like the connection.
I see. You switched from thinking, how do we give them long-term benefits to what can we do today?
Because, your long-term benefit is about how you spend every day. That's how it works. Health is about lifestyle.
But you know what? So I'm still on this app right now. I just did it a day in a row, and you can't see it, so I'll just read to you. It says, I'm 7 morning measurements away from customizing my algorithm and improving the accuracy, and I'm 28 days of measurements and recommendations away from starting to feel better. So it feels like it's still a month of work before I start to feel better, no?
No. just tap on the like stress or energy button, or you see the numbers after measurement, and you will see recommendations and explanations for today.
I see. You're ready to get a lot of work done. Even if you're experiencing some stress, it's not going to do you any harm. To avoid losing steam, take breaks every 1 to 2 hours. During the breaks, run up and down the stairs, do eye exercise, alternate looking at different corners of a window, try breathing exercises, or take a brisk walk for 15 minutes. Got it. Okay. So this is you telling me that, and then there are links on the bottom for more information. I see. So I still could get a little bit benefits right now.
Yeah, so you don't need to wait actually for anything, and that's the trick is that if you are trying to like this 1-2 days and you see that it's really connected to how you work and how you feel, you start to change your behavior and attitude. So you need just to reach this aha moment about like, oh my God, it's really connected with what is going on here. That's how we got one of our first investors. Our app told him that he is super tired and stressed, and he told us, it's Ron, I feel great. And he had a huge battle in tennis with his partner in the evening, and he completely failed. And next day he invested in us because our app was right.
I see. And he had that argument because he was so stressed, and he didn't realize he was stressed until he had a stupid argument that he should have avoided. And with a clearer mind, he would have avoided. Okay. So now you're starting to figure this out. You're starting to improve this product. You told our producer, for a very long time in beta. Why did you stay so long in beta?
Because actually it was not just beta. Beta, we earned money. We earned about $65,000 working with users manually, and collected a lot of data. So we needed data, a lot of data. 2 billion data points, 2 million measurements to train our algorithms to make it work. You should just understand here that there is no other app in the world that can tell you that you are ready for challenging complex tasks today. We needed a lot of data and time for research and development. It's actually science.
And still early on, you were charging. If you wanted so much data, why didn't you say what so many other app makers say, which is everything's free, go enjoy?
Because we needed experience and customer development at the same time, because, preventive health and making people change their behavior is unsolved problem also.
Right.
So like nobody knows how to make people care about their bodies. So at the same time with data and algorithms, we needed to understand the psychology and like behavior change and try to do different things with real people. And if they are not paying for this, how do we know that we are giving them some value?
Got it. So it's not just about you getting data. You also wanted to find out that this was useful, and the best way to see if people really care about it and find it useful is to charge them. And so you were charging, and it was still on that freemium model that you told me about that you're doing today. Free to use, but if you want more integrations, you have to pay. How did you know that's what people would pay for? I thought that was pretty interesting.
It's it's about getting more information about people like getting information about themselves, getting new insights about themselves. That's why actually they, like tests and assessments in Facebook and horoscopes and all these things, and like to visit some doctor and, tell me something about me. So people like information about themselves. The more information they get, the more they value this because it's their data.
Okay. All right. You finally did leave beta, and it was time for you to go out there and get customers. When we come back, we'll talk about how you got your customers and how you grew it, and about the 1 million people who have better lives and why you celebrated that. Let's talk a moment about a company called TopTal. I'm going to be honest again. Here's the one issue that I get with TopTal. The big one is I called up TopTal, Andrew, just like you told me in the interviews, and they rejected me. And so I'm going to tell people why TopTal rejects them, and then I'd love to hear from you because TopTal has the best of the best in their network about some of the friends that you have who are in it. The one big reason why people will get rejected is they have no technical team, and then they go to TopTal and they say, I need you to hire someone who's the best of the best, and that person needs to do everything. They don't want that. They're not here to get someone who has no business get started with a top developer who will then have to talk to an entrepreneur who doesn't know jack about the software. They want to talk to someone who knows how to work with a top developer. That's a big one. And I understand that if someone out there has a good idea and just getting started, and then they call up to say, I want to hire TopTal, and they get rejected, I understand how that hurts. But I'd much rather you get hurt in that phone call and have your feelings hurt than call them up and then pay for a great developer who you're not going to work out well with. I'd rather they reject you fast. All right. But TopTal's big thing is that they get the best developers in their network. Your friends are developers. How do you know so many developers who are in TopTal's network? And what do you know about TopTal through them?
They say that it's hard to get there.
Yes.
That there is hard interviews and checks and verification, but after you get there, you get paid for your work. It's like great customers and easy to work with it.
Yeah, that is the thing. And
so they get happy about this as a freelancers.
Yeah, and they do want to just work independently. They probably don't work in the U.S., right? Your friends who are in TopTal's network?
Yeah, they're from Eastern Europe.
Yeah. So the thing about TopTal is they say, if you're the best and you don't want to come to San Francisco, you don't want to come in Silicon Valley, guess what? You don't have to. We'll get you good clients. We'll actually vet the clients and make sure that they're clients worth working with. But before you get in our network, before you get access to these great clients, here's what you have to do. You have to pass a bunch of tests. And they really will make it so hard that I find that the best of the best are invigorated by it. They feel like finally somebody is testing me and making use of this knowledge that I have in my head and I get to prove myself, and they go for it. I've seen people get rejected by TopTal because they weren't great. They were good developers, but they didn't test well. And then they get invigorated and they can't wait to come back and apply again. And then when they apply and they get in and they pass the test, they feel spectacular, which they should. And so if you're out there and you're someone with a real business, not just getting started, and you're ready to hire the best of the best, what you should do is go to this URL that I'm about to give you and get on a call with what they call them is a matcher at TopTal. They want everyone to talk to a matcher. The matcher will understand your needs and then match you with a great developer or team of developers who you can work with on a part-time basis, full-time basis, per project basis, whatever. I'm telling you, don't take my word for it. Go Google them. Go Google them. I should probably tell you just go to the special URL, but frankly, go spend some time Googling them, and you're going to see. Google them on developer forums, and you'll see how people think highly of TopTal. And then when you're ready, I'd love for you to use this URL because I will get credit for it, but you will also get 80 hours of TopTal developer credit when you pay for your first 80 hours, in addition to a no-risk trial period of up to 2 weeks. And that URL is top is in top of your head, tal is in talent, TOPTAL, toptal.com/Mixergy. All right. And guys, keep giving me all your positive and negative feedback. I love it. I love it. I will not just accept a sponsor if it's not going to work out for my audience. All right. How did you grow this? How did you get people to sign up? How did you get people to know about your business, Jane?
So basically, it was hard in the beginning because when we launched, we had users all over the world, in Australia, in UK, in US, and in different cities. We had some start media relations, and there was no big event to get people know about us. So it was started just with a little, with some influencers, with some advertisements in Facebook, and then when we started to get great reviews, so everybody who is getting wealthy and have successful experience is telling about us to their friends. And it was one channel, and the next channel, actually, it was not in startup way. We decided that we have to learn how to use paid channels, just like Facebook advertising, to make it work. Because if you can, it's the less trustable channel. So people don't know anything about your app. They just see your advertisement, try your app, and then decide. So if you can make this work, it means that you are scalable. You can just
because you bought
zero.
ads.
Yeah.
All the nice feedback from people and all the referral from word of mouth is terrific, but that's hard to build a dependably growing business based on. You said we had to figure out a way to make paid advertising work, and Facebook is where you went with it. And because Facebook was starting to work for you, you said, all right, we think we found a way to grow. This is going to be, this is proving that there's a market for us out there.
Yeah. So for now, we can, buy customer, we are buying mobile install for about $50.
Okay.
And then with all this like conversion rates, we are getting real customer for about $30. And the lifetime value of our customers about $100. So we have like 3 times difference between these two numbers. So we can put money here and get 3 times more money here. So it works.
Okay. And I also noticed that the App Store was promoting you. Did you guys try buying ads in the App Store?
Yeah, sometimes we are buying like search ads in App Store. It works. And some of our competitors are buying, advertising for Valtteri, word to show their app, with us. Yeah. So, but it's like, it's not scalable because, it's too expensive to get a lot of calls from there.
I see that. Yeah, I see that when I search for you, other people are buying ads. You know what? And then the other thing, again, just strikes me every time I see you guys. I see the ratings. What do you guys do to encourage people to rate? I didn't see that in the app yet. You have, at this point, it says 1.13 thousand ratings. Overall rating is 4.5 stars out of 5.
Yeah, and it's a bad one. 1 month ago it was 4.7, and then we had some technical troubles, and right now it's 4.5.
Oh, I love that still burns you that you're down to 4.5 from 4.7.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, but actually, we want to get 5. And we think that we will get it in, I don't know, in the end of the year after like doing all things that we want. But talking about ratings, we do have about the second measurement. After second measurement or third measurement, we ask people like, what do you think? Can you tell us what you think about our app? And they are leaving ratings and reviews and all this stuff.
I see. And so the reason I didn't get it is because I haven't done the metrics enough, even though I opened up the app a bunch of times. When you see that people are using it, then you say, how are you doing? If they are doing fine, you send them to the App Store to review. If not, you ask them for feedback and you improve, right?
Yeah, something like that.
What's the, help me understand the details of it. How are you guys doing it different from what I described?
It's not different. It's exactly like what you described. And the difference is like, right now, App Store asks people, sometimes they ask people to rate our app, without our, control. So they
really?
changed it they changed it in 11 version of iOS. And right now if you allow them to ask people about ratings, they can ask them whenever they want.
Oh, I see.
So,
got it. Oh, I didn't realize Apple did that. Okay.
They did this year. Like, in the autumn, it was like updates.
Okay. All right. So then you were continuing with that. Let's talk about team. How did you hire? What's working for you?
For technical part of the team, it was super easy because we just said, like, we knew people we want to be in our team already. So we just, did like this, like, guys, we are launching this cool company. Do you want to join us? And they said,
How did you know all these people?
It's from startup world, from all the startup teams, always like in all events, where I was speaker. So like, we had a lot of connections because we, help startups a lot.
How do you stay in touch with all those people? That's a lot of people to stay connected with.
Yes, but you don't stay in touch with like a lot of people, only with the best ones, where you'll have to talk with. It's just, it's a lot of time, a lot of connections, a lot of people, I don't know how to describe it.
I see. All right. So you're keeping an eye on who the best, most talented people are out there. You stay connected with them. And then when it's time for you to launch, you reach out to those people. Those are the ones that you hire.
The real problem was with not technical part of the team, but with science part of the team, because when we tried to find doctors, professors, researchers, and somebody like this, who can actually work with data, it was super hard. Because people like doctors and MDs, they have learned medicine. Medicine is not health. So basically, it's like super hard to make doctors to focus on health because they have learned for a lot of years to focus on disease. Then we try to like find experienced trainers and wellness coaches. And with wellness coaches, it's hard to work because they are not focused on data. They love to talk. And, if you have a great talking experience, it's okay. And, so it was like, it was hard to find life scientists and cardiologists who are crazy enough, to be able to challenge themselves and create something new, and to be technical enough to understand the data scientist guy who is like speaking with them in a different language they don't know.
So then how were you able to do that? How did you overcome that difficulty in hiring them?
Just hire and fire, trying and trying. A lot of people.
Okay. What is this?
We are not so smart.
I saw in my producer's notes that they asked you, what's one story of a time that you celebrated? And it's 1 million people have better lives and feel better. Did you get to that level yet? Or is that the vision, to get to 1 million people?
I think it's like misunderstanding. It was a half year ago, like more than half year ago in the summer. It was the first 1 million measurements people made. Right now, it's more than 2.5 million.
So it's not 1 million people, but it's 1 million measurements. So I just contributed 2 measurements because I did this twice. Got it.
Yes.
All right. So that was the big win for you, to just get people to go in there and measure.
Yeah, because it means that we have data. It means that we have enough data to make it better.
Okay.
And it makes that people actually like it.
So here's what I got from this interview. Number one, we may not be aware of how stress is impacting us, but you saw it working with several entrepreneurs, that when they are stressed, they make bad decisions and they miss great opportunities, but we don't focus on it because we think that that's just part of the job. And you're saying maybe there is a way to do it. Number one. Number two, when you come up with a great idea, start with an Excel spreadsheet, but use it to prove what you're trying to prove or measure what's important. I would have thought as a spreadsheet as a way of measuring whether people cared about the data. And you said, no, actually what we needed to first see was, can we get this data with the tools that people have? Number two, once you get into your beta, talk to as many customers as possible. And you built that right into the app. And what you discovered is, frankly, something that's come up a lot in these interviews. People don't really care about the long term. They do care tremendously about the short term. And that goes for even health and even people who intentionally download an app that's supposed to make them feel healthier. Number three, or whatever number we're on now, if you find good developers, just stay in touch with them a lot and forget about the others. That's a way that you can manage your network really well. What else did we get from this? You know what? Here's the other thing that I care about. Why do you care about how many measurements? Why is that a number that you care about as opposed to downloads and so on?
Because, you said just, that it's a long time. It's a 1 minute. It's a really contribution. So when people actually do this, it means that they use the app. When they just install the app, it doesn't mean anything.
So why aren't you using a metric like monthly active users, which I think Facebook publicized as?
Yeah, because you can go to the app and just watch our videos, and somebody's doing like this, and don't do any measurements. So you can be in the app, but don't do anything. Okay.
All right. And you as a company use that metric as the one guiding force, the one guiding light. We're trying to get to that. More people, more measurements taken. Is that right?
For now, it's not right, because already we solved this part. And a lot of people are doing measurements. We have enough data. So for now, it's not the most important metric.
What is the one metric that you're obsessed with?
Right now, we have done everything with the paid users, with customers. And my next big thing is to make it great for free users, and to make them use it for a longer time. Not for our paid users, but for free users. So free users is my next big thing.
How do you make this a rockingly good experience for them? All right. Well, I'm going to continue to be a free user, and then I could imagine wanting to do this as a paid user. For some reason, I'm really obsessed with taking my own data. it was my conversation with Tim Ferriss. He said, look, record the food that you have for a little bit and you're going to see how you eat better just by doing that. And so from time to time, I install MyFitnessPal and I go through like a week or a month of recording every single thing. The problem that I have with that is, yes, it does make me eat better, but it doesn't give me any insight beyond that. I don't care about like the micronutrients for some reason. I just can't get into it. But now I have a way to do that. And here's the other thing that here's the final thing that I learned about myself in this conversation. Even this app says I have high energy. I really have incredible amounts of energy, which I think is good, but I need to tone it down and know where to direct my energy sometimes, to stay quietly in Napa with my computer and journal about where do I want to go? What's the long-term vision? Because there is too much short-sighted dealing with issues and not enough long visioning for me. All right. Anyone who wants to go?
I think for you, just, this 1 minute anywhere when you're like breathing or watching the sky or just stop is the super important experience because you are so active.
That is the hard part.
So you need something opposite.
That really is the hard part. All right, but I see the benefit of doing it, so I will work on that. Anyone who wants to check it out should go check out Welltory. It's like a wellness factory. Welltory. See it in the App Store. You guys are Android also, right?
Yes.
Yep. So forget about their website. Just go to the Apple or Android app stores and get it, try it, and let me know how your numbers look. And I'll keep going with this for the next week and see what comes up. And I want to thank my two sponsors. The first sponsor, HostGator, for being okay with me even talking about people who send me negative feedback about them. Actually, I don't even know if they're okay with it, but they've got to be if they're sponsoring me. But I'm really happy with them. And overall, I'm seeing really positive feedback from people who are signing up to HostGator. They hate their previous hosting company. They switch to HostGator. They're happy with it. And then they just move on. All right. So if you want a good hosting experience, go to hostgator.com/Mixergy. You get a low price and hosting that works really well. And number two, if you want to hire a great developer like Jane's friends, you should go check out toptal.com/Mixergy, toptal.com/Mixergy. And finally, guys, give us feedback on how this interview is edited and audio quality. I know Ari's working on improving the editing. So hit us up as a team at contact@Mixergy.com, contact@Mixergy.com. All right, Jane, thanks so much for doing this. All right, I'll let you get back to your workload. Thanks. Sorry, we had a lag, so it seems like we're talking over each other, but that's not it at all. We have a lot of respect for each other, and the lag is what's causing the issues. Cool.